right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Few audio issues, but we're rolling now.
I never have.
Well, on this week we have Ronnie, local Texas guy, does a lot of pig trapping, pig GPS tracking, pig killing. I've got a bunch of questions.
Seems like an overall outdoorsman.
Yeah. So Ronnie, why don't you introduce yourself? Shameless self plug. Just go with it.
Who are you?
All right.
What's your story?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Ronnie Katzenberger. You can probably tell from my far east Texas accent that I'm not from over here. It's like Easter of Viewmont, whatnot. It's I came over here from Germany in 2010, so I've been here now for those 11 years. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel in Texas Jagd, so it's not jacked or whatever. Some people have all kinds of funny pronunciations. It's Jagd. It's just German for hunt or hunting, So
okay, that's why I kind of didn't intro it as that, because I was like, I don't want to butcher this. Or,
I noticed.
So I kind of danced around it.
No big deal, and it kind of like, I didn't think this through. I didn't think, hey man, I'm gonna make this YouTube channel. I'm gonna have thousands of subscribers. The ultimate origin of the name came actually from my license plate, believe it or not. But I had to, I like custom license plates, and I spent 2 years in Michigan before I moved to Texas, and the license plate I had up there was MUC, which stands for, it's the Munich, the acronym for Munich basically, and the Munich airport code, MUC. I had it in Michigan, no problem. Moved on to Texas, and I'm going to have the same license plate. Can I have that? And all of a sudden, it just took a long time, and they told me, yeah, you can't have that. I'm like, why? Oh, just, it's, what do they say? Offensive. I'm like, why? Why is this offensive? Like, it's the airport code from Munich. Like, I had this in Michigan before. I had all kinds of proof. I even had back then, a C in that name. And, if you read it reverse, it doesn't, it's not good. Like, you guys got to be kidding me,
That's
dirty
ridiculous.
minds, Like, how do you even get there? Like, I didn't even think about that. You read MUC reverse, right? Anyway, so I had to pick something else, and then I thought about, I like hunting, and what's the German word for hunting? It's Jagd. And then I had this license plate Jagd, and then on top it says Texas, right? So Texas Jagd, and there you go. That's the name. So that's where that came from, and then... in 2012, like I said, I moved on to Texas and Michigan, or Detroit, and then, I realized, oh man, you guys have pigs on here. That's pretty interesting. So in Michigan, did some bow hunting for deer, and when I first got into hunting, really. I mean, I didn't do any hunting in Germany, and then, hunting for pigs was something I was always interested in, and you guys have an abundance. I guess I'm just assuming you guys are from Texas. Maybe you're not.
Yeah, we're all in DFW. Yeah.
Okay, there's this abundance of pigs down here, right? And that's how I got into it. And ever since I hunted at night for pigs, it's just like a freaking drug. You have this bug, and you're addicted to it. And the first one I shot was just with actually my Steyerbolt action, just a regular scope on top and the green laser or green light, right? I mean, that's how everything started. From there, you just get into one different, upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. I mean, so much money I left on the road from where I started,
Yeah.
That's where that started, and that's me. I started the videos on YouTube only because I wanted to share my experiences with my folks in Germany. So I have family in Germany, and wanted to kind of like share it with them, and then had this ATN scope when they first had the first generation X-Sight, and to me a big selling point back then was just a video recording. I could record as I hunt, and that was perfect. It was totally up my alley, and it worked out pretty good, actually, to be honest. And that's how I published some videos, and all of a sudden one thing got to another. And, now I see it a little bit like, almost like the channel is holding me accountable to continue that and actually do something with the footage. If you think back, once, digital cameras have been a thing, how many photos have you guys taken with cameras and never did anything with it? And it's stored somewhere, right? And you don't do anything with it. Same thing would be with the videos, right? If it wouldn't be for the YouTube channel, I wouldn't actually create these kind of experiences on YouTube. And I mean, I catch myself just sitting somewhere and watching some of my old videos because I truly just enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun to go back and look at these memories we made together with folks in my group, Micah and so forth, and so that's how the YouTube channel came together, and I guess there's a little bit of a following at this point, so I have even more obligation to continue.
For sure. So
that's me.
Are you from Munich?
I spent 8 years in Munich. I grew up a little north of that.
Okay.
Some folks know that area, Schweinfurt, because there's a few U.S. Army bases. So,
okay.
We had some U.S. Army folks back then around. But ultimately, Munich is like 2 hours south of that. So.
Okay. I've been to Germany a couple times. I love it. Haven't been to Munich yet, but...
Man, it's the best beer.
Munich was awesome. Yeah, Germany is rad.
Yeah. Germany is rad.
They literally have the oldest brewery, and there's a town north of Munich which is Freising. I went to school there for a while, but they have the oldest brewery on this planet. Just
wow.
That's been mind blowing. And
which one?
Yeah, I think it's a Weinstefner.
Mm-hmm.
Weinstefner is the oldest.
Yeah,
and,
I'm in the beer business. So,
oh, you are?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. No, beer in Munich is fantastic. That's when I first started drinking beer because what I had before wasn't good.
Yeah, our company actually, we deal with Schneider, we deal with Reisdorf, Kolsch, we deal with a handful of things, so the bigger stuff, so pretty cool. Yeah. Did you hunt in Germany?
I did not. It's
a different world over there for sure.
It is, and I said it's not that easy to get into. It's kind of like this elite group. Somehow, it's always how I pictured it, and I mentioned it at some point in one of my videos, and I got this angry German saying, "Oh, that's not true," and yada yada yada. I'm like, "Oh, that was my experience," and I never didn't really know many people who did hunt in Germany, and it's just not something. It's not like you go to a store over there and you just all of a sudden exposed to hunting stuff. Like you have to, like finding stores which actually have like that kind of equipment you have to drive hours for that, Yeah. And over here you go to Walmart or somewhere and buy your freaking milk, and you can buy the hunting license and like one counter over.
Yeah,
so it's more accessible.
Get a rifle and
get a rifle and a box of ammo.
Yeah, you can get a rifle, ammo, and the license.
Exactly.
You just hit the tires and
oil change.
And you're ready to go.
Pizza rolls.
So you didn't hunt over there, then you moved to Michigan in 2010, you said?
Right.
And did you do any hunting up there?
My wife's cousin and her husband, long story there, but he was into bow hunting, and he introduced me to bow hunting, and that was pretty interesting. Also something which is not a thing in Germany. You can't just go out and hunt with bow, like you're gonna get arrested probably. I got into that, but I wasn't very successful up there. We also didn't have really a lot of land to hunt on. But that's when I first got into it. I mean, I was more in fishing in Germany, so I was always like in fishing. My family we always had like some property with fishing, and my grandpa and really uncle had something more commercial. At this point, my uncle is in Germany, actually the distributor in Europe for certain Scandinavian hunting outdoor clothes and stuff like that. So it's been somewhat in our family, but never on the hunting side, more like the fishing side. But I guess I had this outdoor gene somewhere buried inside, and all of a sudden I can come over here and just like comes out,
For sure. So you did a little hunting in Michigan. You come down here, you get put on a pig hunt, you kill a pig, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is it.
That's it.
This the
that
ticket.
Was it.
And you've gone down the rabbit hole. You're talking about ATN. You probably got into their IR and then their thermal, and recording it, and then trapping.
I tell people that's the natural progression, right? Mm-hmm. People start with something, and it's you're gonna look for the next one. And the big step was really from IR to thermal, right? I mean, it was a big one. It's a big investment for a lot of people. So that took some time, but once you had that, I mean, game changer.
And then you started trapping. You do a lot of trapping.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I do a lot of trapping. I think the trapping was more like a necessity to do what I wanted to do. Like I had this idea, like you should be able to figure out where they stay. Where do they go? Right? Mm-hmm. You shoot them all of a sudden they disappear. I'm like, what did they go? Right? I mean, and then where do they hide out during the day? So that was always something I was interested in. I had this idea for a while, like we should put a GPS tracker on those. And at some point, one of the owners I work with here, who has a bit of land, he said the same thing, and that was kind of like the trigger to me, like, okay, I'm just going to look into that now, right? We have the properties, we have some traps where we can make this happen. Let's figure it out if it's actually possible. So I did some research and looked at some options, and it didn't seem to be too complicated. I mean, there's some solutions out there, and I mean, ultimately, I took an iterative approach to it. The first tracker we had was a dog collar and that dog GPS tracker on it, right? And not made for pigs, made for cats and dogs, and made to last maybe a day or two. But it was our first try, and if that thing wouldn't have worked as good as it did, I don't think I would have gone much further. But that thing just worked for these 2 days, and the data we got back was mind-blowing. I mean, it was, the first night or two, like 4 to 5 miles already in travel, and then also the data visualization, I must say, from that company was really good. Like it was really visualizing the data in the best way I could imagine. So it blew my mind, like how good this worked. Like, damn, I think this is actually something I can look further into. And then I had to get into the battery side of things, because you want to have more data than just 2 days.
For sure. So let's back this up to
so many questions.
Get it? Yeah. Like, so you obviously didn't shoot a pig. You trapped a pig, right? To put a collar on it.
Right.
And you probably used, one of the lion hunting or coon hunting dog type tracking collars, I'm guessing, on a standalone GPS or something like it. We can talk offline about brands if you want.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, whatever you guys want to do. No, it's not the dog hunting, the coon hunting kind of stuff.
But that's what you started with.
No, it's like I started with. It's a company which produces GPS trackers for your pet.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if your little,
inside.
if Fifi, your dog, gets out and he tends to go through the fence, then you want to put something on him. So if he goes to the fence, if he's at the neighbor or if he's doing something else. And that product, that's what I used. It was one of the cheapest solutions, and it had the big piece there is you didn't have to have a receiver for it, right? That's the big thing.
Yep.
The coon hunting stuff, you have to have a receiver for it. You have to be somewhat close. But that thing actually has, it has LTE, so it's actually, has a SIM card in it and it transmits data no matter where you are.
Wow.
And that was attractive, right?
Totally.
Absolutely.
So that's you've got this pet collar. It's got a SIM card. You've got service activated. You're like, I'm gonna put this on a pig. You trap a pig. We've trapped pigs. How the hell do you get a collar on a pig?
What did you use as a collar? First
yeah,
of
like
all?
just like so you like I'm gonna do this. Once you did it, like I want to hear like from 0 to 60 how this happened because
exactly.
I just
very carefully.
Yeah, for sure.
So first question is, what did you use? Obviously, did you use just the strap that the thing came with to attach it to the pig?
No, it actually doesn't come with a strap. So I bought a dog collar, like an orange dog collar. I thought, let's make this as visible as we can, so the chances of covering it.
Yeah.
So, dog collar. It's one of the nylon ones. It's waterproof and whatnot. And luckily, the first pig we had was small enough. Right, that definitely helped. So the first one we had, it was maybe 50, 60 pounds or something. It wasn't very big.
So just around the neck kind of thing, right?
Just around the neck, just like it would be your pet pig.
How did you get this? Is this a regular circle trap drop gate?
It was one of the small box traps. So
okay.
it had the
like a single pig box trap.
Yes, but it had the trap door which is hinged on the side versus hinged on the top, and that also made things easier because if it's hinged on the top, it's going to be very hard to get this pig out.
Yep.
But hinged on the side, that made things a little easier, right? And then on the way there, I mean, I didn't know what I was. That's usually the way I go about things. I don't do a lot of research ahead of time. I just
man
try
after
to
my
do
own heart, right here.
Trial and error, right? And hopefully it goes. Hopefully I don't die. So I did some like, how do I restrain that hog? I was thinking hog tie, right? I mean, this hog tie knot out there, and I have a rope, so I have a rope with me and everything. A buddy of mine who hasn't been hog hunting in his life. But he was crazy enough to tag along, and then in the middle of this, like I pulled this pig out and I was able to grab it by its hind leg, and I grabbed to the top of the trap too, which was a bad idea because now you go through the goat panel there, right, and your arm is in there. Now you hold on to the pig and it kicks like hell. So now you bang your arm against this hog pen, and that hurt like a bitch.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But eventually we had it, and I was able to pull it out. And once you have a hog, a pig with its hind legs, I mean, it's basically defenseless. It can turn left and right. It doesn't have that kind of motion in its neck. The motion goes up and down because it, hits you like crazy with the forehead. But it doesn't go left and right much. So it doesn't actually have a lot of strength that way, right? So you have it. It's freaking, it's drama, dude. I mean, those pigs are just full of drama, like a lot of squealing and craziness.
Oh yeah.
But you flip it to the side and then sit on it, and then that's where I decided, that the hog tie is not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just no way.
Let's do this now. So
Yeah.
about roughly what size pig was your very first
He
one?
said 50 or 60
50 or
pounds.
60 pounds. Okay.
Yeah, that was luckily a smaller one. So
Still, 50 or 60
So
pounds
you
is
get
a
this thing
lot
drug
of animal
out,
to
and
wrangle.
you get it flipped over on its side. Just clearly decide you can't hog tie this thing because it's just madness. It's drama. I mean, you got to put your hands near its mouth somewhat to get it around its neck. I mean, you just put like leather work gloves on and stuff, and just kind of figure it out.
no, I just had the regular work gloves. I mean, but you can put the track on the ground and just kind of like
Flop
lift
them
it
onto
over, or
it.
you shove it from the side. I wouldn't go from the front.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to mess with that. But yeah, you can get it around, but you have to. It's a two-man job because depending on what you use, and at that point we had the dog collar, which wasn't so bad because you have the holes in it and it's preset, and it's not too bad. Now we do because we need more flexibility. We do these like nylon straps, which I actually like sew up and stuff like that. And I use those tri-glides and the plastic buckle and stuff. Adjusting that now is a little more involved, right? So it's not as easy as just opening and closing it again. You have to pull the strap through, and it's definitely a two-man job. I tried to do it myself once, and that was very difficult.
So we before this, in the last few days leading up to this podcast, I was talking to them, and I said, I just don't know. I'm curious, and whether you tranquilized or sedated, but you're just straight wrestling them.
I don't think you can just go to
buy the
people.
Yeah.
People told me you can buy the Tractor Supply. I'm like, I don't think that's true. I don't know what they told me there. Maybe if you have a prescription from your vet or something, maybe.
I'd like to record you going in, Austin, and asking, "Hey, can I get some
Do
tranquilizer?
you have any ketamine?
Do you have any ketamine?" It's for a pig, not a girl.
I got a hot date tonight. I mean,
Does
Hang
it
on.
smell like chloroform?
Yeah.
does this smell like chloroform?
Are they going to be able to smell this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some research online on how many lists I ended up.
Yeah, exactly.
research.
You're,
You're for sure on a list now.
you're on a list somewhere.
So yeah, you just wrestle these things and put these collars on them.
If you think about it, I mean, all the components not going in. So as I iterate through those trackers, and I add these lipo batteries, like all these components I buy, and the research I did on tranquilizers. I mean, it doesn't look very good.
No,
It just doesn't.
No, but
Well, this German guy
So you
in Texas is
yeah.
doing a bunch of weird stuff right
Yeah.
now.
tranquilizers and GPS trackers.
Just don't buy a shipping container.
Yeah, that's where it's going to be too much.
So you moved on from the 2-day lasting pet collars. Did you ever try to like supplement the batteries on those?
Hold on.
or-
I have a question before we move forward.
Okay.
So the first one you've done, all right, you've I'm sure struggled to get this collar on this pig. You finally get it on, and now you're going like, okay, I've got him held down. Now what the hell do I do, right? Do you just like jump up and hope it runs away, or?
Yeah, the first one was pretty good. I had two cameras running, and so I let this pig go. My buddy Nate, he was filming, and that pig went straight for him. So I mean, he kind of jumped to the side a little bit, but ultimately, it looks like now after doing like 4 or 5 of those, the first instinct is to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
So they don't necessarily try to get you; they just try to get out of there. They
just-
thought
yeah.
somehow I get lucky and it got away. That's so they bolt. But it definitely sometimes I have my kids with me, and they're 7 and 5, the two older ones, and I put them in the back of the truck, right?
Yeah.
Just get them out of the way.
Stay up there. Yeah.
But yeah, to the battery question next. I
Yeah,
guess,
sorry.
right?
Sure.
So yeah, now I went through a few iterations of this thing, right? Using all kinds of different batteries. At some point, after the first one worked, I'm like, okay, this is fantastic. The data we're getting back and the way you can visualize is fantastic. I need to make this work now even longer, so I can now actually utilize that in a live hunt. Right? That's kind of like at the end of the day, that's one of the goals. So I take this tracker apart at this point, and like I took the box cutter and the screwdriver and stuff to that GPS tracker and try to pry this thing open, somehow hoping there's a way for me to upgrade this battery. And to be honest, it could not have been much easier. So I open this thing up, and the first thing I see is, oh look, there's this battery, a tiny little 500 or 800 milliampere LiPo battery hooked up via two soldering.
Unsolder that thing and tack on a big one.
Yeah. So take this thing off, try to get the right size voltage battery, and then go from there. So the first one I hooked up was maybe a 2,000, 3,000 milliampere, and then did more research, upgraded. Well, I had to find a, now since I take this tracker apart, this thing isn't waterproof anymore. So I have to find a way. How can you get this thing to be waterproof again with all the crap pigs go through? So Pelican case showed up.
Yeah, I've seen them in pictures.
Yeah, then I had to kind of like match the battery to that case. So latest generation is, and I had one out for a few days. It has two 10,000 milliampere batteries in it.
Yes.
Yeah, so that thing is going to run easy for 2 weeks. The problem is you actually don't know what the battery level is because the app or the components in it can't handle it.
That's a lot more technology to transmit.
Yeah, it shows you, at the beginning it shows you 70, 80, 90%. A week later it shows you 40%, but it jumps up and down. So it's not like it just continues to goes down. All of a sudden it's back to 60%. You're like, what the,
The running
you actually don't have a good idea.
Yeah. The shaking.
Yeah, the shaking.
Yeah.
It's like a quartz watch.
It's an idea, though.
Yeah.
But, we want to get to the point where we have so much runway that it doesn't really matter how long it lasts.
Right.
I want to get back at least 1 week of data. And then, like, the week time frame, I want to switch to, like, what I call the retrieval phase and try to get this tracker back somehow. Right? But in my worst case, this thing is so cheap. That's another consideration. Right? If you look at like wildlife research folks, I can imagine the trackers, whatever they use. It's probably in the thousands. I don't know, how much, but it's got to be more than $200. This thing all in, it's like $200. If I lose that,
it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the biggest thing is,
man.
I spent an hour in stitching the stupid strap together. So that's painful. I'm very good at stitching, but that is time spent. Time spent is my biggest loss. That annoys me the most.
For sure. So, I've seen the pictures. You've got the Pelican case mounting thing. So you're still using the original transmitter GPS unit, just supplementing battery life.
Correct.
All right, I'm gonna have to figure out. You're gonna have to tell me what those units are, so we can start fiddling with this. But what's the biggest pig you've collared?
That was probably 120 or something.
That's a solid size pig.
I would have to look at it again.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine with me, and he goes by Power Wagon Chris because he drives Power Wagon too. But he hasn't wrestled a pig, and he's one of those dudes. He's like totally like up to the challenge. Right? He grabbed it, I grabbed it, and that was definitely one of the bigger ones. Recently, we had 3 pigs in the trap, and there was a box trap, and it was actually surprising to me because that sow was probably 200 pounds.
Oh,
it's the first time I see a big sow, like especially a sow, go in a trap like that. That was unexpected, and damn, she was angry. I mean, I haven't published a video yet, I haven't cut it yet or whatever, but man, she made some angry noises, and I didn't feel comfortable grabbing her. Like, that would have been difficult to get her out. That's the biggest risk factor, probably, getting her out of the trap and grabbing her by the hind legs. If I have smaller ones, you can actually use that trap door. If you have a side hinge trap door, you can use that trap door to pinch them between panel and trap door. So if you have the smaller ones, it actually works pretty good. But the big ones, dude, I mean,
I can't imagine.
But to that point,
it's a human. You're wrestling a human being, basically.
An angry one. That's pure muscle.
Yeah.
So somehow the guys from Ultimate Night Vision, they at some point they came across one video where I actually had the full story in. Trap him, I tag him, research, go after him, and I freaking killed this pig. So I was able to, go in the brush or whatever, find it and kill it. So that was the whole story there. The Ultimate Night Vision guys, they found that video and they commented, hey man, this is fantastic, fantastic planning, design, and execution, just well done, right? So that's how we got into conversation. Since then, we've been messaging on Instagram for a little bit, but they wanted to do the same thing, right? With everything what Ultimate Night Vision is doing, they were interested in that too. And so they built this tracker, I think they had a post on Instagram, whatever, and then they trap a pig and they tag it, but no data comes back. And I think that their signal was either very bad or something went wrong with the tracker. I'm not really sure, but they didn't get any data back. But that pig, the picture I've seen, that looked like a 200-pound sow, and somehow I forgot his name. He's somewhat new to the group there, but I guess he must have. He's one of the farmers up there, I guess, and I'm sure he's country enough so he didn't care, and he must have arrested that pig and somehow put the tracker on a 200-pound pig. So
good for him.
kudos.
Awesome.
Yeah, kudos.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you ever worry about or have you noticed anything? Normally, when I see like wild animals, when they see something different on another animal, they will shun them or try to keep them away. Have you noticed anything like that during these trackings?
So I haven't observed that. It's not. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen at the beginning, but I haven't observed it with those pigs. To the point where the one I actually was able to retrieve, I snuck up to them and I couldn't. It was just among all the other pigs.
Okay.
I don't think they cared.
Okay.
The last one I had, I was testing something new, which is a little beacon light, which is supposed to last something 100 or something hours. It was a little blinking light because I had trouble at night identifying those hogs. In thermal, it's pretty hard to find that pig. I was thinking with IR, I might have more luck. And then if you have something blinking on it, doesn't have to be IR light, but any light blinking on it,
Sure,
that would make it pretty easy. But so I actually went as far as that. I don't think they care.
They don't care. Okay.
The next thing I wanted to try though, and I actually forgot that this time, but I bought 2 little bells you would put in a cat or dog.
Yeah.
So you can hear it, and so that would be interesting because it must be annoying for the rest of the group, but that would be
It's
good
making
too,
all that
right?
noise over there.
Yeah, you can
chasing
freaking-
me.
Something's chasing me.
Sally, shut up.
Overall,
Told you.
So you hear there's all kinds of folklore and stories of how far pigs move and their home range. You've got hard data on it. What is there any significant amount of quantifiable data that you have to say like they kind of run a 5-mile radius or are they just everywhere?
Yeah, I think it heavily depends on the area. So if you say that, I don't know, up in Dallas or whatever, what kind of farmland you guys have around, or what the soil is, right? What's the soil type? I think that those are all factors which play into how far they would go. The first 2 pigs I trapped was in the hill country. In hill country, they have 2 inches of some sort of soil and then it's rock underneath. Mm-hmm. So there's not a lot of farmland out there, and they have to travel further to maintain their food intake. So I think that plays the biggest role. I noticed out there basically the first night, these pigs would travel 4 or 5 miles, and then trapping out black land area, whatever, where the soil is rich and there's a lot of farmland around or whatever, they wouldn't travel as far. In fact, they stayed kind of like in a 2-mile radius. Traveled the fewer bedding areas, I realized, fewer bedding areas, and then just using the same kind of food sources over and over again. Hill country, there's a thing, hill country also, not as many bedding areas, and then one of the recent ones, a video I published today actually, was in the Smithville area, Bastrop County.
Okay.
And alongside the Colorado River, and out there I realized I couldn't even keep up with the bedding areas. There were so many of them where they would stay the whole day or overnight or until nighttime basically, then they come out to feed. But there were so many areas where they stayed for several hours without moving, so they definitely bedded down that I couldn't keep up with it in the software. The software allows me to create 5 geozones, and I didn't have enough. So it really depends on the area. Like, do you have any bodies of water in the area where it limits their travel? Do you have a lot of food sources around, like farm fields and these kind of things? And based on that, I'd say that heavily influences that. I haven't seen anything travel further than, let's say, 5 to 6 miles. So I have not seen that yet. But it doesn't mean that doesn't happen.
Sure. How many units have you deployed total?
I think 4 or 5.
How many have you retrieved?
Retrieved 2 or 3.
Gotcha.
3, I think. The first one was actually kind of a cool story because this was the very first one, the dark color with the small tracker on it, and I get this message, I think on Facebook or something. Somebody messaged me, "Hey, I think I shot your pig." Like, okay, that's interesting. And so we get in the call, and
It's funny.
he tells me, "Yeah, I was out, I live up here in the hill country, and 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I have this spy point camera now. It sends me alerts, and I had it set to sending me alerts right away. So I get a picture. There's pigs on my feeder. So I go out and shoot those 2 pigs. And as he walks up to it, he recognizes there's a dark color on one of them. He's like, "Oh crap! I killed somebody's pet." He was freaking out and everything. And it was in the middle of the night. He couldn't sleep that night because he was just thinking everything through in his head. The next morning, he does some research trying to find out if somebody does any GPS tracking. He could only find some sort of outfit somewhere south or something. And then, so he calls Texas Parks and Wildlife. Like, "Are you guys tracking, pigs out here or something?" I'm like, no, we don't. But it sounds interesting. But no, it's not us. And then he does some more research and he finds my video, and that's how he ultimately called me. But he was super happy and super interested, and it was just a cool story. And since then we became friends and stuff. So that was the first one retrieved, and then the most recent one it came up after 2 or 3 days. That pig somehow managed to just get it off. Like, it was all intact, nothing broken or something. But I noticed that pig had like almost no neck. It was freaking fat. I mean,
Solid cylinder.
It's just solid. And somehow it was just I didn't get it small enough so it doesn't fit over the head because its neck was so freaking fat. And so that came out.
So do you put your phone number or contact info on them now? Like, if you find this or kill this pig, call me.
Yep. After the first one where we couldn't do that, I have my business card in it, and on the outside I write on like feral hog control research to make it more official, whatever. But it's all in there now. So, I have still a few more out there, and I hope that someday somebody finds it and thinks he found the secret treasure and then calls me up or something.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you're doing most of your tagging and stuff in the hill country?
All over Austin, really. I mean,
all around Austin?
Yeah.
Is that where you live?
Yep.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, there's plenty of them around there. I mean, plenty of them around here. We've got...
I think you guys definitely have more still. So what I heard from what you guys see out there, it's...
I mean,
cool.
we have a hunting lease out in East Texas, Jefferson area. And we're MLD, so our deer season is a little longer. But this year was 150 pigs from October to February. Just, shot out of deer stands waiting for deer. 2 weeks ago, my wife's uncle has property just over the Oklahoma border. He put 28 in the trap, and we went and shot them all. And then we have a little piece of property out near Terrell. We've trapped a couple dozen out there, probably killed a couple dozen, I should say.
Yep.
So I mean, I've in the last calendar year, I probably saw 200 pigs die. Yeah, it's crazy.
We had one field east of Wrasslin, where you see most of the farmland. And the first time we started out there, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we saw 200 pigs in one field one night.
Oh my!
That was the most I've ever seen, like
just covered
so far. Yeah, it's just 2 sounders over here, sounder over there, and it just keeps on going like all around where you looked. And we weren't prepared for that. We just were not prepared for that. And
I bet.
We're gonna need more bullets.
guns.
So what's the saying? No. Anyway, so we started shooting. Right? That's the kind of the meme right there. And we did that, and all of a sudden it just strain of hawks just runs, and they all like follow the first few group and the bigger group. They all hit for the same spot in the trees. And the problem with us out on here is the areas are still somewhat populated.
Yeah.
You know, you have residential homes not too far off, and cars and whatnot. So you can't take crazy shots
Yeah,
like that. You
pot
can't
shots.
just
Yeah, you can't just dump mags.
Yeah.
no, you
Take a
can't
poke
do
at
that.
it.
You know. So as much as I'd like to do it, you know, sometimes, but you know, can't do it.
What's your preferred rig for hunting? What's your setup right now?
You know, the most recent one, and so far my favorite one is that Rome R10 Red River Ultralight. It's a long name, but it's an AR10 using magnesium parts. The lower, or the whole receiver basically is magnesium. The handguard is magnesium. All the other parts are really optimized for weight. And that thing weighs in like a naked 5.6 pounds.
Oh, wow.
That's an AR10.
Yeah.
Now you add your thermal on top and you add a suppressor. Then you add about 9 pounds, and then once you have a 20-round magazine, you're a little over 10 pounds.
That's nothing.
Yeah, and that thing shoots like an AR-15. So it's so far it's been my favorite setup.
Yeah, I'm running an AR-10 and 6.5 Creedmoor, and it's a tank. It shoots like a dream, suppresses, but it's a tank to carry around. What Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and I mean that was the reason why
They're heavy.
I didn't like to take an AR-10 out. I have a 6-hour, 6.7, 16 in my gun safe, but that thing stays in the gun safe. It's so freaking heavy. It's just not fun. You know? So I've been leaning on the 300 blackout side for a long time. 300 blackout pistols, 12-inch, 10-inch barrels, and so forth. Everything's suppressed, but once that Rome came around, I mean that changed things for me. You know? It's an expensive rifle. Don't get me wrong, but I also have a CMMG Banshee AR-10.
Wow,
It's a pistol, you know, but I compare those two. The Rome, you pay a good price for it, but you get a rifle. You don't want to change anything about it. I got this. The trigger is really nice. It's an ATC gold trigger. The barrel is nice. Everything is just the stock. It's a minimalist stock. Like everything is just. There's nothing out there I want to change in this rifle. The only thing I did is I put a barricade stop on the handguard in front. That's it. And sling mounts, I guess.
Sure.
And then the CMG, I get this thing, and the first thing is like, this thing is overgassed. Like I can't even shoot the suppress.
Yeah.
So I had to fiddle with that. Put a different gas block on an adjustable one. The trigger is kind of weird. I wanted to place the trigger like just one thing after another. Charging handle was way too small. Like, sorry, I have big hands. I can't
Mil-spec charging handle's the worst.
Yeah, so one thing after another, and that's still an expensive rifle. So here, you buy an expensive rifle, and the first thing you want to do is you want to change it.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Right? So the Rome, that made a difference.
So what is it chambered in?
It's 308.
308. Yeah, that's cool. What suppressors are you running? What do you like?
So I'm on a Silencer Shop Authority program. So I get to try different suppressors. I'm an FFL with my Class 3.
Sure.
So suppressors have been dangerously easy for me to get, to the point where I just order them and they show up. It's magic.
Yep.
But right now I'm using quite a bit of rugged suppressors. I really like the Dead Air Nomad TI. It's one I recently got, and unfortunately there was a lemon. So that thing actually blew up twice for me.
Oh, God.
The front cap came off twice. So the first time it comes off, and I send it in, and they repair it, and I get it back, and the whole can looks different because they re-welded every weld on it, and before it was a nice clean finish, and you barely see the welds, and all of a sudden you get this totally different looking suppressor back. Then I take the first shot in Supersonic 300, and same thing happens. The front cap comes off again. Like, what the?
Was it baffle strikes or?
No baffle strikes.
Just couldn't handle the pressure?
Yeah, the weld was not good. Bad weld. And so I sent it back again, and then the next time it came back. Now it's holding up. That was an unfortunate experience, and just rugged. I had good experiences with rugged. I have some 6 hours. The silencer cool. But yeah, the ruggeds, I do like them. So.
Good deal. You mess with the OSS at all?
I tested some. I think it's a cool concept with the basically gas exiting out front.
Yep.
But they're also kind of pricey.
Yeah.
So
I
look at
hit and miss. Some people say, "Oh, they're the best," but I do a lot of there's a few Instagram pages and stuff that do a lot of independent testing, and they test okay.
Right.
But like you
Yeah,
said, I think the concept's cool.
What I recommend a lot to friends is that rugged Razor 762. To me, that's such a great value suppressor. It's a mix. It's not titanium, but also not just steel. It's actually fairly lightweight, and it sounds fantastic, and it's actually fairly inexpensive. It's not like your titanium suppressor, which is going to run like 1,000 up or something. I think it's retail something 600 or whatever. That Razor, and it's a fantastic suppressor. It sounds really good, and it's lightweight too. So to me, it's a super all-around suppressor in 762. So you shoot anything down 30 cal and anything below. Right?
Yeah, for sure. What thermals are you running?
Well, I'm also ATN Pro staff.
Sure.
So at this point, I run all ATN.
Yeah.
I hate the frickin' brand war and all these fanboys out there and all this bullshit talk. It's the worst. I can't read those comments anymore. And to me, it's the same thing with like if you're in photography, if you're a Nikon guy or Canon guy or Sony guy,
totally.
or you're a Mac guy or you're a PC guy, like whatever, Ford truck or Dodge or Ram truck or whatever. Like it's just this bullshit talk. Like to me, all these scopes are great, right? You just got to pick whatever works for you. I like the ATNs because it's where I got into it. I saw how they improved and iterated from a product perspective over time, and I like them since then. Do they have issues? Yes. Does Trackin have issues? Yeah, they do. So what's the point? Like, why are you having this conversation?
Sure.
That's what annoys me the most. So a friend of mine has one of the old IR Defense, the IR Hunter 2, I think, or something. Mm-hmm. And even he has issues too. So here you go. He spent a lot more on a scope, and you still get those issues. I see the iRay, videos on the iRays and stuff, and yeah, the clarity is really nice. Like I do like the clarity, and I think there's some really good options out there. It's just you got to find whatever works for you best.
Sure, totally.
Do you like IR or thermal? What's your preferred? If you had a choice.
Is that a true question?
Thermal all the way then, right? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I like the IR for the detail and being able to tell like what kind of coloration that pig is.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like there's three phases or three levels to thermal, right? There's detection, recognition, identification. Those are the three. I guess I don't know what you call it, but the first one would be detect. The detector is something out there. You see, there's a heat source. You don't know at this point if it's a rock, cactus, cow, or pig, or deer. Recognition would be then, okay, that's a cactus, or okay, that's a deer. Right? Identification would be that's Joe the deer.
Yeah.
You know him because you've seen him 5 times on the game camera, right? Where you can actually identify somebody or even a person if it's that. And with IR, you have that. You have that even more detailed. I think the clarity is pretty fantastic. But the big downside is just following around this IR torch all the time. To me, that's such a downturn.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
But you do have some options with auxiliary lights you put around your hunting spot, like a feeder or something, which is pretty fun. So one of the things I wanted to do is like take a 400-yard shot, but have at night basically, but have an IR floodlight or something around a spot where they come in, and then you can take this shot. So that would be pretty interesting.
For sure. I've got a couple little magnetic IR illuminators you can stick on feeder legs and stuff. So there's a good fun.
Yep.
That's neat.
Yeah, detection is much easier with thermal, like you said. Scanning a black field on a real dark night with IR, if you don't have a real solid, IR illuminator, ain't happening.
Yep.
Thermal doesn't matter.
But recently with getting a little bit into that, hunting from the UTV. So I have this Canon Defender 4-seater, and at some point we just had this opportunity. It just came up that there was a pig out in the field, and the field was harvested, so it was okay to just ride around in it. And it was way out there, and for us to stalk up to it in the open field with some moonlight, it's going to be tough, right? It's going to be a long walk, and all of a sudden didn't see you or sees you, and then it takes off. So we decided, let's just stay in the Can-Am and run up to it. You know, it was the first time we did it, and man, it's fun.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sure that helicopter hunting is still it's still a level up, and I've never done it. But UTV, like shooting from a UTV and doing these running guns, it's got to be really close. Like, it's got to be close to helicopter hunting. But that has been a ton of fun, and in there, I mean, it doesn't matter if you have an IR or a thermal. I mean, if you have a blackout pistol or something, put a red dot on top and maybe a laser, and you know, that has been fun over the past few months after harvest.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. That sounds great.
Running them down.
Like Jared shot a pig one night, and I was sitting over in our side by side, and they all came running toward me. I was like, "Oh shit, they're right there!" And I took out after them. I was by myself, so I was trying to run some of the piglets over. It was hard to drive and gun, but yeah, that was a blast.
It's actually not that hard, right? The difficult part is you have to get close enough, fast. So the approach is the most important part. Once you're next to them or you're up to them, they can't run that fast, especially in the field, right? I mean, it's like you and I walking through the field. It's not very easy. Mm-mm. So they don't run that fast in the field once you're up to the UTV. If you're standing, you're shooting, it always looks like they're much faster. But once you're actually driving next to them, like you have to slow down to stay next to them.
That's what we get.
And then what we did realize once you turn around on them or something, they lose orientation, I think. So they are somewhat confused. Like we had incidents where we do one or two donuts, run them, all of a sudden they just look at you. They just stand there like, I don't know where to run at this point.
What is this thing, and why is it faster than me? This is not what normally happens.
Usually I'm gone.
Normally I'm gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's funny.
Doing a donut around a pig.
Dad?
What else, man? What else? What other cool stories?
I was gonna say, go ahead. I was gonna say the one question I really wanted to get back to as far as the tracking was just like, you know, just coming out of now that you've done it a handful of times and you've recovered and got all this data, you know, what is the one thing that really kind of surprised you as far as, wow, I didn't really expect them to do that or behave that way, that really was kind of like a light bulb type moment?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that there's a few things. You know, the light bulb effect definitely happened quite a few times. One is how far they travel in one night sometimes. Like I had one the other day, and the first night they went 4 to 5 miles. It was along a creek, and that was a long stretch for the first night. Like, you know, and then the other thing, recently it's a video I published today, but they crossed the Colorado River. I know they do cross waterways frequently, and
they had them swim through our duck decoys at Lake Lavon.
Yeah, we were duck hunting, and they went out in the lake and swam around. Even the piglets were, I mean, it's amazing how well they could swim.
Right. And here they crossed the Colorado River, which is not a small river. Right?
Yeah. No.
It's a big freaking body of water. And it was lower, but it wasn't so low that they can just walk through it. So they definitely swam through. One, my tracker held up to that, which was great. So I knew that, you know, the case works out. But two, they went on the other side, maybe for 200 yards. Then they crossed again. So they only used it for travel. And like, damn, that's a lot of effort just to get to a different spot where they usually just cross the property. So it's not even that they had to, just they chose to. They chose to cross the river twice only to get the other side, to the other spot, basically. Because, and I could tell because in the GPS that they're getting back, they didn't stop or something for food. It's like it's just a straight line of data points going across that other river side, and then they crossed again. So that was something unexpected. Like, in a way, you know, wouldn't you want to preserve like energy and ultimately, but
the straight line type effect, right? I wonder if you got to think it's probably. I wonder if it's a learned behavior. Like, hey, don't go over there. That's where Steve got shot in the face. Like, go down the river, go down, cross. It's a little bit more of a pain in the ass, but you know, just do it because
it's possible.
You're not gonna die.
It was a terrible death for Steve. So.
Yes, Steve got it bad, dude.
Got it bad.
So as far as just like daytime, you know, what data has really come out of just like daytime movement of pigs for you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a good pattern for that. That's the other thing. It's like I can tell you now after having this GPS data that hey, look, there's this pattern. You can expect this and this to happen. What I think would be interesting to run this data through some data science modeling. I'm not a data scientist.
Yeah.
I had somebody reach out to me with that offer, but then I also realized that our political views in the line, and I chose not to share data with him. But it would be interesting to kind of like do some data science and that and see like when is most of the movement happening. Again, I think it depends on the property. I mean, the other day, well, I guess we had a sow trapped in the trap, a big sow, and she was a lead sow. So we had the other pigs just hanging around on the outside of the trap.
Wow.
So as we drove up, all of a sudden they run away, and I didn't expect that. But I think it depends on the property. Properties where you don't have a lot of activity, then they feel more comfortable doing it. But it's a good question. Unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for it yet.
It's crazy. What a cool idea, and just a cool execution of it as well. You know, I think that's pretty neat. I'm interested to see what you're going to do with it, Austin. I want to watch you trap a pig now and wrestle it. And,
we're just going to stand there and watch you wrestle it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd totally
this.
do it, but I just want to see you do it by yourself.
It's pretty fun. I mean, you know,
I'll record
it's pretty fun. The cool thing is, you know, that a lot of people really are interested in it, and quite a few folks, I think, purchased the parts. Recently, one of our viewers, he sent me a circuit board. So he made up a circuit board so you can hook up two batteries in parallel to that. You know, I had something else rigged up, but the circuit board is way nicer, right? But you have people out there now who do that stuff. And I built one tracker for this one person. I think he was up in Dallas area. Haven't heard from him since then. I think we kind of lost contact. But there's other people now doing out there doing this stuff. So I know that, you know, it's helping other folks out, and it's just hugely interesting. You know,
super interesting.
The data get back, yeah. And the invest is fairly low.
Have you become friends with Jesse Griffith?
Who's that?
Oh,
He owns a restaurant down there that you definitely need to go to in Austin proper, called Die Dewey.
Huh.
I can message you a link to it. And his book is coming out in the coming months called The Hog Book, and is the A to Z of butchering, cooking, hunting pigs. Jesse's the man.
yeah. I mean, he serves wild game, wild pigs specifically.
Ton of wild pig at his restaurant. Do you eat any of your pig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We take backstrap or hind leg quarters.
For sure.
But it kind of depends on the night, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
you guys know.
100%.
Yeah.
It's all mood dependent.
If it's
like,
a Tuesday night and it's
we
a 300-yard hike back to the truck, no, you live here now.
no. Mm-mm. But
Yeah,
you know what?
when I first started, and one of the reasons I got into that too is, you know, we had two Great Danes. Right now we only have one anymore, but two Great Danes, and I was poor planning on my side. We had a cat, added one dog, had a kid, and added another dog. Now I have too many living things in my house, but two Great Danes, they need a lot of food, right? And the oldest, she had some digestive issues, and she would get allergies, and she would stop eating this dry food. So we put her on like raw meat diet, which worked much better. But man, it's kind of expensive to buy meat for a dog, right? So that was the other reason I got into hog hunting, is then to actually free meat.
Yeah,
It's
it's the most expensive.
We all know that. that plan didn't work out.
We're
But
very
you know,
familiar with
when I first started, I would actually skin them. You know, hang them up, skin them, and take them whole in a big cooler, and then really butcher the whole thing. But once it moved from hunting more into eradication, I stopped that pretty quickly, because that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I looked around down here. Unfortunately, we don't have a place where you just go and donate this stuff. If you wanted to do that, you would have to drive at least an hour somewhere to do that. So as much as it hurts sometimes just to leave them, I guess we do help the local buzzard population. So.
Yeah.
For sure.
Buzzards got to eat, same as the worms.
Hey, man.
Do you do any other hunting other than pigs? You whitetail hunt? You bird hunt?
Yeah, I tried deer hunting, but you know, I spend so much time in pig hunting. I don't have a lease, so I kind of like rely on some people being so generous letting me hunt on there and stuff.
sure.
But it's always in something where I don't have a lot of prep time. I would love to have my own place where I can go bow hunting and I know my stands and I maintain the feeder and then I can actually enjoy that. It just, last year was pretty intense. Like we almost went every weekend hunting, right? So we produced a lot of video last year. So we spent a lot of time hawk hunting, and there's just not much time left for anything else. Really.
Sure.
So
when you're passionate about it, that's what you're gonna do, man.
That's duck season for us, and we're just now starting to roll into fishing, and pigs are always in the mind. We got cell cameras out on our traps, so it's always kind of like, something gonna happen tonight?
Fingers
Never
crossed.
know. Fingers crossed.
Every morning I wake up and pray to God I see a picture from Austin.
I'm waiting to see some predator hunters to get into GPS tracking. What I do want to see is somebody, wrestle a coyote.
Oh my God!
And touch a tracker on those.
That'd be awesome. I just don't know how you trap it.
You gotta have to tranquilize those.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to.
There's no other way.
Foot trap it.
You gotta get it.
That breaks its leg.
Sit up in a tree and jump down on it and wrestle it.
You gotta make it drink whiskey, and then it'll become your friend, and then you train it to be your partner in crime when you're hunting pigs.
Wow.
Smart.
Just talk to a roadrunner. He may be able to help you out.
And we're done here. Well, man, any cool stories or anything?
Yeah, what's...
There wasn't enough cool stories for you guys?
It's
great. I like cool stories. I like pig killing stories. I like pig tracking stories. It's been great.
The one thing folks always tell you that pigs are really dangerous and they're gonna chase you and charge you and whatnot. And I mean, all these years we've been out there now and hunting and got really close to pigs. The only instance it happened one time, but that pig had at this point like 5 rounds in it. It was a big boar. We came up on it from behind. He was still kind of up in the front, and then all of a sudden he turns around and wanted to go for us, And Mike and my buddy had his it was a Remington Tech 13 other firearm, technically not a shotgun, and blast off, right? And then I had the handgun and take another shot. But it's the only instance in all these years that we had a hog charge us. It was the other one, but that pig it happened to run our direction. So it didn't try to charge us. It just happened to run our direction.
But otherwise, that way, and you happened to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we never had it happen. But I mean, we know all these stories, right? I mean,
sure.
In the Belleville area, I think that one woman who got killed by them, right? I mean, 5 a.m. in the morning or something. She didn't realize there was pigs in the front yard of the house she was going to, and all of a sudden she ends up bleeding to death. So
that's crazy. I had a weird run-in with them during bow season last year. I mean, they definitely didn't charge, but there was a sounder that wasn't very afraid of me. It's kind of bothersome. But yeah, I kind of same feeling as an incidence as you. It's an issue, but I don't think it's as big of an issue as
they're more afraid
it's made out to be. Yeah, they don't want to be around you.
They're
right.
Night before last, and buddy were out fishing on the creek up here by the house, and game warden came, swung through and checked everybody. And we were talking, and on his way out, it was just kind of getting sundown. He said, "Y'all be careful. These pigs around here get aggressive." Like, all right, man. Like, if him and I are talking and walking through the woods, those pigs ain't gonna be around.
Yeah,
they're gone.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate cases where it does happen. People say sharks are not aggressive and they don't want to eat humans, but it does happen. Well,
yeah, I don't buy that either.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Sharks scare me.
I don't like being in the water like that.
Yeah, well, that's no.
That's their world.
I did that once, and I didn't really think about it. It was our last real vacation before we had kids, and we went to Hawaii. Only trip to Hawaii ever. But Molokai had a little cabin, and I was doing a lot of fishing. So I was fishing some, how do you call them, blue Trevelet, or I don't know how you pronounce it right, barracuda and stuff. And we ate that, and we grilled the fish and whatnot. And the blue Trevelet, I went out there quite a bit. I was to my chest in the water and couldn't really see anything around me. And then later, after we got back home, I read news that some other German girl, happened to be a German girl, on Maui or something, got attacked by a shark. And I I don't do that kind of stuff.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Me neither.
It's, I'd rather be with pigs in the middle of the night, some in the woods. But
right there with you.
I don't do sharks.
My wife and I, last time we were in Hawaii, did the shark dive in a cage thing.
Damn.
And that was cool. But it's like, yeah, that's plenty. And they had and after that, she's like, we should do the one out of a cage and this and that. And I was like, nah, we should go to a bar.
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
Yeah, let's go drink on land. Let's get out of here.
No.
Yeah.
Just turn 'em over. Yeah. You just turn them over and pet them on the stomach, and
they totally. Just
Like
not,
you just have
not
to,
a big deal.
Like you have to hit him in the nose.
Yeah. Just like my dog.
But he's
Pet him on
supposed
the
to.
belly.
Yeah.
Supposed to poke the eyes.
Yeah, probably.
Can you imagine?
No. No way.
No thanks.
No way. Well, man, we super appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It was awesome. I'm gonna message you and get some details because I kind of want to go down this rabbit hole this summer.
I want to watch
Do it.
Because out on our hunting lease, like I said, we've got piles of pigs, and I'd like to kind of just see, like you said, where they move, where they bed, what they do. Because it's always just like, yeah, they come through this feeder a lot, and they come to this one on occasion, and this one's hit and miss. But what's the real story, right?
Where are they moving to?
Yeah, that's what I said today in the video. It's basically, you have them on the feeder almost every night, and then you go out, and they don't show up.
Yeah.
Yep. Where the fuck did they go?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's 2 properties over. It's just 2 properties over.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah. We have that problem all the time. We go out to the East Texas, and we're always like, let's go hunt pigs. Like, they've been out there.
Every
like
night.
you said, like
all
every
of them
night.
are there.
Like, the guys on the lease will be like, yeah, we see them coming into this one feeder every night, like clockwork. They're going to be there. And we go out there, and we're like, we're going to sit all night. Leafs are barely moving out there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And there is some nights I would see on the data that they just don't start moving until very late. Like they don't start moving until 10 or 11. And there's nights where they just start earlier. So again, no rhyme or reason, no pattern to the movement so far. Who knows what all plays into it? What kind of factors? Temperature, light,
barometric pressure. Moon phase.
And I never believed in that. Moon phase and whatnot. I just never believed in that. The one thing though, the full moon, I noticed. I thought we see him less because it seems to be
brighter.
So bright.
Yeah.
But then again, like I see him during the day. So what does it even matter? Like how does that even
for sure
make a difference? Yeah. Anyways, if you guys, do that, at this point, I'm there where I kind of enjoy seeing other people doing it because it's a fun experience. But yeah, if you guys wanted to be in video for that, let me know.
Oh yeah. we definitely put together some video for that for sure if we
100%.
Once we get it done. Well, man, as we wrap this up, take a second and put out your Instagram and your YouTube info and tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, channel on Instagram is just Texas Jagd. Jagd is Jagd. It's all in one word, Texas Jagd. I stopped Facebook. Can't do it anymore after what all happened
for sure
last year and so on. So I'm on Mevi as well. I'm trying that, but I'm not spending a lot of time on there. So Instagram and YouTube is my thing right now. So
cool, man. Well, again, thank you so much.
Yeah,
we appreciate the info. It's super interesting.
Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. We'll be in touch.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good, guys.
Thanks,
Take
man.
care.
Yeah.
Stormwater Creek is the best. Grinch, the captain. Aim, the helper. Jordan, the problem solver. I hope you like Stormwater Creek. Stormwater Creek.